Hello dreamer, welcome to another video. I'm Brittany, and in today's video I thought we would have a little bit of a sit down chat where I did my vision board. That's it right here. A couple years ago I invested in a reusable board, and I think it's really nice because whenever it's finished it hangs in my office as more of a permanent piece of art. And a lot of my visions for the years kind of progress year to year. So I use a lot of the same kind of visualizations from the previous year with potentially slightly different meanings. I will be adding a few new things to my board this year, and I thought that we would kind of talk through them and also really talk through general vision board ideas and what's been on my mind recently about the trending no buy, low buy year. That's definitely going to be a huge topic of today's video, and I'd love to share my personal thoughts on it as someone that really lives the life that she always dreamed of. And even though I have goals and aspirations for each coming year, I really get to do and explore the world how I want. And I wish everyone could do that. And I really feel like they're approaching this low buy, no buy year just a little wrong. Let's start this though, so it doesn't take all day. And I'll just kind of talk to you as I go about it. I'll probably mention a few things as I'm hanging them up just so you kind of know the meaning behind them. But without further ado, let's dive right in. While I'm doing this, you might hear Luna in the background. She's currently playing with her bone. Before I started filming, I uprooted her from this spot, and she was in a full reverse doggy sploot, and it was the cutest thing ever. It was really, really cute. Before I got this permanent board, I had a piece of cardboard, and I just feel like this is really nice. However, it is really hard. I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to use on here besides pins, but it does take a bit to get through. So if you see me kind of forcefully poking, it's because of that. So before we started, I mentioned that I was going to talk about no buy, low buy. By now you probably have seen somebody's video and you know what that means. But if you don't, it is the idea that you are spending too much money unnecessarily and you kind of have a problem. You need to stop and cut back. And I have always felt that restriction is never the right mindset. And so I have a lot of problems with that idea. Common mistakes I definitely see with the low buy is that you don't have clear goals and you're trying to do too much too soon, too much of a cutback on your expenses. And you might not even know what your expenses are, and then you're trying to cut back on them. And you're trying to cut back on all of your spending, but a lot of times that spending is what makes you happy. So I have a couple thoughts on this. Number one, I think the first thing to combat this is the fact that you need to figure out what makes you happy. And for me, it should be pretty obvious that travel makes me the most happy. And that's why I started this YouTube channel, so I could share travel with everyone. And also because I really wanted to build a community of people that also really loved travel and wanted to talk about it, be excited about where they're going for the year. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even really sure if my goal this year is a travel channel. I'm going to continue doing YouTube because I do actually enjoy filming and making videos, but I do think you will see my channel kind of evolve this year into more than just travel. I really tried to niche down on travel content, and my channel didn't really do any better than it was doing like before I was creating all kinds of content that I loved. So I'm pretty sure that I'm just gonna go back to filming really anything that makes me like happy. By the way, this particular card is like so meaningful to me because my grandma got it for me. And I just see it and think of her, and I just love her so much. And so that's where that came from and why it's like so meaningful to me. Also, this Run with Heart and Nori Rinnan is Elvish, and it is me and Brad's life motto. We came up with it pretty well together when we first started dating. And so this is quite an old quote, quite an old piece of artwork, and it's very sentimental. It's what we live our lives by, and that's why it always gets to be either up at the top or front and center. So the travel that I want to do this year and what will be on this channel will be things that truly make me like happy. And I really want to go back to like true adventuring. Like this Venice picture that I printed off really symbolizes that, because my trip to Venice is probably one of my favorite trips that I've ever taken. It was just so different than any other part of the world that I'd been to at that point, and it just felt like another world. The food was amazing, and exploring the area was amazing, and so that's really what I want to bring with me into the new year. So going back to the no buy, what I kind of do instead of the idea of a no buy is budgeting and clear ideas of what I want to spend my money on. I also really love the idea for me this year of just adding income instead of removing. So instead of the idea of essentially like dieting on your finances, why don't we all have the idea that we're going to earn more? And really that could be not just like money. Maybe you just want maybe more love, more friends, more community around you. And so like this is going to be my year of more. And I would love to, you know, see that for you as like, well, I mean, more wealth, more health, which as you can see, like is here. I would love to get back into running. I was super into running. What was it? Almost a decade. I think about a decade ago, I was really in the best shape of my life. And then I hurt my back, and it's been that way ever since. And it's been so hampering. But if you watched my videos during Vlogmas, thank you for staying around that long, you know that I tried dry needling and my back's been a lot better since then. And so I'm really hoping and feeling that this year might be the year that I get back into running. And I would just absolutely just love that for 2025. This one says, never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway. And I love that for this year and for this YouTube channel and potentially my like work and everything. This is hopefully going to be one of our more successful years in our businesses, and I'm putting this like boss on here. You would think that this would like just be kind of straightforward, but it actually means a whole lot more than what you think. Last year I stepped back from our personal businesses so I could concentrate on YouTube and just personal improvement, because I didn't like doing what we were currently doing with our businesses. And there's a couple things that we're going to do to, I wouldn't say like deal with it, but make that better for the new year. And also I found that me stepping back from the businesses, it just doesn't work. Like they kind of start falling apart. It's not that I'm not replaceable, but the amount of money that the businesses make and everything, we really don't necessarily have the ability to replace me, and things just kind of started to fall apart. So it just isn't quite the right time for me to like do that. In a much better healthy mental space to kind of step up and kind of take charge of our personal businesses the way it needs to be done, essentially. As for like travel, I personally like love this photo. It's our wedding rings on our passports in front of the Eiffel Tower. We went to Paris for our honeymoon, and it was just kind of one stop along our almost month-long honeymoon vacation. But I've just always really loved this photo because it just kind of symbolizes us going new places and making new memories, and I just love that for us. I don't like that there though. Let's kind of move that somewhere else. It's a little bit more aesthetic. How about down here? There, that's kind of good. I would also like, we made several bits of progress towards this for 2025 already, is like a really nice, pretty aesthetic backyard. And I would have loved this more zero-scaped version of it, but that's actually not gonna happen because it turns out in Orlando, you need a permit to zero-scape your backyard. And with us living in like a small home, we are not going to invite the city of Orlando anywhere near our property. So that's not gonna quite happen the way I was originally envisioning it, but it's already getting cleaned up. We had a tree cut down. I've been getting in the yard and kind of working in it a little bit. And I'm so glad that I can, because my fitness journey is getting better already. So I really feel like we're starting this year off like good, even though I have felt like a lot of people have been like really saying like 2024 is amazing, 2025 is going to be even more amazing. Let me just tell you, for me personally, 2024 was a garbage fire of a year. It just completely got out of control with renovations, and we didn't get to travel as much as we wanted. We didn't quite make as much money as we would have liked. It just was a garbage fire of a year. So we're going to hold the vision and trust the process for 2025 and just kind of keep grinding away. Brad and I are thinking about starting our own channel together, potentially like a podcast, and really talk about like business stuff. I was going to do that on my own when I first started this channel. I was going to talk about making money, because it should be fairly clear from the way we travel and the way we live that Brad and I make a healthy income, which is mostly from being entrepreneurs. And I do feel like I have a lot of insights on that, but I feel weird just kind of talking to a camera about finance and money just myself, because it's really not me. It wouldn't have been just me. I couldn't have done it without him. He couldn't have done it without me. It's like we really are an entrepreneurial investment team. Therefore, I would love to just film together and talk about personal finance and business together. This picture has actually been on my vision board like forever, and it's of this purse down here from like Gucci, which I've always said is going to be really my first like high-end designer bag. And I've just always loved it. I've always felt it was like fairly timeless, and one of these days I will buy it for myself. But really, there's so many other things that I want. Trips together to build businesses that employ people and make like wealth. So not a huge priority, which is why it kind of goes more towards the bottom and not just as like front and center. I will say that I always start the year thinking that I'm going to like dress better. And I cleaned out my closet this year like pretty heftily. And I'm doing better. I'm doing better about getting up in the morning and getting dressed fully and putting myself together. You probably know, if you work from home or you're self-employed, it's kind of hard to just like put yourself together every single day. So I can put that out into the world as something that I want for the coming year. I personally love seeing other people's vision boards, so I hope that this kind of inspires you to kind of put your dreams and your aspirations out there for like everyone everyone to see. You shouldn't have to be like ashamed of the things that like you want and that will like make you like happy. And that's what I feel like some of the low buy and no buy is like doing. Like people are starting to feel like their spending is like shameful, and I don't feel like you should have that negative thought about money. That's not putting you in like the right like headspace. And headspace is really one of the things that I worked on profusely in 2024. And I will say that I don't know if my therapist would, back me on this, probably because they are kind of paid to agree with you, that I personally feel like I'm in the most positive. Sorry about that. My memory card was full, and so I lost the little bit of doing this board. But I thought I would kind of go over the last few things that I put on it that you didn't see. I was just talking about this like positive mind, positive vibes, positive life, and how I personally feel like I am in the best mental headspace that I've ever been. I just feel like a more positive, grateful person. And because of that, I feel like I'm going to attract new friendships into my life, because now people might actually want to be friends with me because I am just nicer to be around. And I'm even more grateful for the people I have in my life. I love them all so, so much. And I was just putting a few more like goals and things on here that we don't really need to like go over too much. But the general idea is that I would love to be in like the YouTube partnership program this year, either on this channel or a new channel that I'm starting. If the universe doesn't want, me to showcase like travel to the world, then maybe I'm meant to showcase something else. And so I'm hoping that 2025 will be the year that I find that. But this is kind of the last vision board. I'm just going to add a little bit more like fitness stuff to it. And I'm also going to add a picture of Japan, because that's where I hope to travel this year. That's like my exciting new destination. Other than that, I really want 2025 to just be the year of investing in our future, both career-wise and health-wise. And I want the idea of like abundance. If that's going to be my word of the year, it's going to be that. And I wish that for you too, dreamer, and everything else that you could dream up. I'll be back shortly with another video. Until then, bye.